Good news for Mercedes. Mercedes' Canada Grand Prix can be considered a mild success, as the team which raised the most eyebrows after the Spanish Grand Prix came on the North American continent with high expectations. Russell's unfortunate problem, however, put a dark spot on an otherwise decent race, with Hamilton taking P3, making it at least bearable Sunday afternoon for the Silver Arrows. But despite all this, Mercedes still have a great basis to build upon going forward, and the future looks good for them. Join us today as we look into how Mercedes have come back into the fold and are now contesting Aston Martin as the second best team on the grid. Russell's weekend was unfolding quite parallel to his teammate at Mercedes, Hamilton, although he wasn't having quite as much luck. But then the young Briton's race took a turn for the worse on the 12th lap as he left the chicane at turn 7 of 8, ending up crashing into the wall while holding the 4th position. The mishap was a result of Russell going a bit too fast and then being caught off guard by how the car responded when it hit the sausage curb. Russell then assumed his race was probably over, but he decided to soldier on, managing to claw his way up to the 8th position with the aim to last till the finish line on the hard tyres. However, challenging Albon, who was ahead of him, proved to be an impossible task given that his Mercedes was a bit handicapped. Eventually his race came to an end due to issues with overheating in the front left brake. Wolff explained that after he hit the wall, interestingly, the oxidation matrix had gone dramatically up on the left, and at that stage they felt they wouldn't finish the race, so they were forced to retire the car. Hamilton, on the other hand, carried out his duties proficiently during both practice and qualifying sessions. Although he had a brief scare during Q2, he managed to secure the 3rd spot on the grid, surpassing a few cars that could potentially have been faster. His success was due to his skill in delivering perfect laps in the midst of unpredictable conditions at the most opportune moments. At the race start, he successfully overtook Alonso, but lost a position later during the 2nd stint. This could potentially be attributed to the fact that the Mercedes may not have performed as robustly as the Aston Martin in the race. In my opinion, I expected a difficult competition at the Canadian Grand Prix this weekend. Given the circuit's combination of lengthy straights and slow corners, it didn't seem to play to the strengths of the Mercedes package. However, securing a 4th and 5th place on the grid under the challenging wet conditions was a positive outcome. Ahead of the weekend, Lewis Hamilton shared that Mercedes had regained its North Star in terms of development trajectory, a sentiment with which Wolff agreed, saying that the feeling inside the team has now fully transformed. I think we can see the positive dynamic which is cascading and transcending into the organization, explained Wolff. We feel that the car is coming together and we see that our data yields results on track. We haven't felt that for a long time, and this contributes to being in a good place right now. Wolff emphasized the importance of Mercedes not becoming overly confident, assuming that success was now a sure thing. He pointed out that the issues faced during the Montreal weekend underscored the persistent problems they have yet to overcome. It's evident that his outlook is one of cautious optimism, acknowledging an observable upward trend. However, he also drew attention to their vulnerabilities, such as the incident in FP3 when they struggled with insufficient tire temperature, causing a performance drop. Despite these uncertainties, we can all see that the Mercedes team is cognizant of the fact that their car tends to show better performance on Sundays compared to the competition. This aligns with Wolff's and his driver's belief that they could potentially secure another double podium finish. Wolff expressed satisfaction with their current position, highlighting how both cars managed to achieve consecutive front lap placements, which he deemed as a standard expectation. He noted instances of impressive speed from both drivers, especially Lewis in Q2. Despite losing his lap due to going straight at the chicane, Lewis could have achieved the fastest time among the intermediate runners, a highly competitive feat. There are a lot of good things that Mercedes can take away from this race. They had decent pace at a track where they expected to struggle, so I'd say that's a good sign they're headed in the right direction, and that Spain wasn't a one-off. And they're also pretty good at upgrades once they have steady base to work with, which they must certainly do in this situation. Montreal did pose a challenge for them, and Hamilton seized the opportunity the track presented. However, the spotlight will intensify when they arrive at Silverstone, the home turf of the Silver Arrows. There will be questions around whether they'll simply stand by and watch other teams bask in glory on their home ground. Notably, Silverstone is the track where the issue of the W13's porpoising was largely resolved, with initial steps being taken earlier in the season in Barcelona. When asked about what exactly they're bringing to Silverstone, Russell chimed in with optimism. He shared that they are enthusiastic about Silverstone, believing they are well prepared to compete for a good outcome. He suggested that there might be a few more enhancements coming for Silverstone, but also reminded everyone not to get overly excited over just one favourable outcome. The car's underside, specifically the floor, is an area that's receiving particular attention, as confirmed by James Allison, the team's recently reinstated CTO. However, he highlighted the importance of understanding that car parts are specific and independent. This means that even if the intricate floor design works efficiently with the overall structure of the RB19, it's not necessarily going to be a direct fit or provide miraculous results for the W14. Russell echoes Allison's viewpoint. He humorously noted that even if they borrowed the no side pod design and installed it on the current version of the AM19, the Austrian team would likely still outpace them. Hence, when asked where Mercedes should focus to boost performance, the answer seems straightforward: the floor. This perspective isn't only shared by Russell and Allison. Toto Wolff too is unconvinced that the side pod design should remain as is. He has urged the team to pursue further enhancements, particularly focusing on the undercarriage of the car. While our attention was drawn to the visible aspects, Mercedes might be planning another revision of the side pod design, as we didn't get a glimpse of the W14's downwash ramp, an area that sparked some controversy. Famed F1 journalist Christian Manath discussed Wolff's dissatisfaction with the side pod design. In this context, he brought up a recurring question among Mercedes engineers about the overall concept. He cited a conversation with Andrea Stella discussing the rationale behind wider side pods for this generation of cars and how they enhance the performance of the floor, a topic everyone seems to be talking about. What Mercedes takes away from this situation is paramount. They've made significant strides with the car's latest design, but there are still many elements that require alterations. These changes are necessary if they hope to be in contention for victories and titles. Fortunately, both their drivers are prepared to dedicate a few more years to the team, and Mick Schumacher's significant role in testing the car and identifying issues promises a bright future for Mercedes. The pressing question now is about their immediate future, specifically at Silverstone, because their strength lies in front-limited circuits and high-speed corners, and Silverstone is probably the best example of this. Catalonia is somewhat more balanced even in the new layout, and Canada is on the opposite end of the spectrum, rear-limited with low-speed corners. The Mercedes is weak accelerating out of low-speed corners. Ferrari and AMR both seem to prefer rear-limited tracks, while the Red Bull performs well everywhere. If Merc is going to get a win, Silverstone or Brazil are the best bets, aside from a double DNF from RBR. So we are yet to see, will Mercedes manage to escalate their competitive edge, optimizing the 17 extra aero hours to narrow the gap with Red Bull? Or are they looking at yet another season of data collection, aiming to start the following year on a stronger note? The answers to these questions are eagerly awaited. What do you think? Do you think Mercedes can build further upon for Silverstone? It does seem like it from this perspective. Let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and we will see you next time.